Good day everyone, welcome to another Crafting with Bee video. So today we're going to do a little bit of something and we're going to make two sets of different types of earrings. So the first set is going to be along the lines, we will be making something close to this. Now I do not have this particular bead right here, so I won't be able to use that in this particular, but the same type of style will be used in this video. Another set of video for this video I will be using is to be making something like this. Now this one is a little bit more complicated. Now this one might take us between 25-30 minutes, whereas this one could take anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes. The difference is that one requires more attention than the other, and we will be using that, and we're going to make that. Now some of the stuff we're going to need today are basically our earring clasps. Now it doesn't have to be the gold kind, it could be copper, it could be silver, whatever you have on hand. Just be creative with it. You know, you could buy most of the stuff, like I say in most of my videos. You could buy it at your dollar store, anything. And I even noted that sometimes you can even use, please ask your parents if you're young on this one, is if you could get some old for like jewelry that they don't wear, but it does have to be able to kind of like move and stuff like that before you disassemble it. I wouldn't do anything like serious to anything that's valuable, of course, because that would make a big difference here. So as many might know, I have done this for a while now. I think I said in my last video. So I've done this for probably like now, like 9-12 years. So, I've been kind of getting like a lot of different decorations lately. I haven't posted most of those. I've actually made a couple different earrings. I even made these ones here. They're quite like a sweetheart earring if you like to have something like that. I've even made like jewelry like this, quite lovely. It's good, just like a little bracelet. It's got like the chain. I actually found an old chain that I was able to disassemble, and like the one we have today. Now we will make something closer to this one because this one does not have the insert as this one does. So we're going to put this one away. And basically, before you start, I would suggest you to choose some colors that you think are good. Now, my one does have like the multi kind of base colors. Sorry, I can grab that here. This is kind of like more of like a colorful kind of version. If you're kind of concerned about where you're going to buy some beads, I would suggest, even if it's available for you, Temu is really good. It's available for everybody. And also too, just be creative with your style. You don't have to be like following my thing. It's just a basic tutorial video, so you could do this on your own. So I also do have all these here. These are I think the 3mm, and I do have as much as the 4mm, but I also do have the 2mm ones, but we won't be using those in this video. So, depending on what you're going to choose for your style, I do have a couple varieties. I do have some greens, which we could probably pair off with some of the stuff that's in this one. Totally up to you. Or even like some colors that will match any of these colors in here, which is almost like blues, blacks, and stuff like that. Another thing you're going to need too is like a little kit like this. Now this is also available on Temu. This has the lobster clasp, and it does have the little loops for your jewelry. And also too, you're going to need your tools. So I got these here. I also got another one. I got like my metal ones for cutting and my stuff. So yeah, I usually carry a couple because sometimes when you're pulling, you need to kind of, move like like that. Now, trick is not to over pull when you're making these jewelry, because sometimes they do tip and fall apart. That's what's going to end up happening when you're working with these type of earrings. I experienced that actually, and I pulled a little too hard, and it's like it flew over the place, and I spent 25 minutes cleaning it up. That was painful. Anyway, we're also going to need our jewelry wire. So you can pick that up, I think, in most, even some places you could go to, I think, Michael's if you have them in your area, Dollarama's if you're up in Canada. I think in the United States still, I don't really know anymore because like some of our border stuff has been really bad. So what we're going to try today is we're going to use this particular one. I do have other colors. I got golds, I got whites, I got blues, I got greens and stuff like that. I'm just trying to use up some of my old stuff because I've been using so much of that lately. Like I will show you. Now, I do also have like my gold one here. It's a little thing. We could even use this. And it's now I bought this one over at our Dollar Tree, but just the quality of it is not as nice as the one at Dollarama. So I think I'll just save this for side crafts, and we're just going to go back to our red one and kind of just work with that. Now, I would probably cut this in half, as you don't want to make it too big, because when you're looping through some of the stuff, and you'll see this in the video, that too long, you could get tangled, and then if it gets too tangled, you might find yourself trimming off more. So I'm going to cut this in just about right here. This is about half. Let me see here. There we go. Oops. My cat's opening this up, sorry. Alright. I don't know, my cat's having an infatuation with wire right now. And as many of you know, I do have a kitten. My cat had given birth to 4. Fortunately, 3 didn't make it after birth, so it was kind of a sad moment for me. But one is doing really super well. She's feisty, she's everything, so don't worry about that. I'll post a video soon. I got a couple little videos of her and her mom, so just so you know, they're doing really, really well. Basically, we're going to start with this, the very basic one. We're just going to go start with something simple as this. And I will teach you how to make this bottom piece so that it kind of has like the double kind of end, so that you can actually, you know, experiment even anything. I also do have charms that we could usually use. I actually got posted in my little thing here. Now, this kit is a glow-in-the-dark kit. Now, you can go ahead and use that if that's what you would like. Maybe some glow-in-the-dark earrings if you're going to go to like a rave party or something. I don't think people do that anymore. Hey, the 80s and 90s was cool. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and make a loop. Just very simple and everything. So in case of many don't really know, it's because I have a few new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. I have my hand, unfortunately, so it's a little tricky for me to hold this. So like if you see me kind of like struggling a little bit, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm not in any pain or anything. I'm just trying to concentrate really hard. My other hand's perfectly fine, but just a little more struggles on this hand, that's all. Anyway, so once you get your loop in, you're going to have to close it up. So I would close it over the end, kind of like something like this, and just kind of like twist it like this. Surprised I actually did this today, because usually I have to put it on the table to hold it and stuff like that. So anyway, all right. It's good to have a good pair of pliers, I'll tell you. And these are spring-loaded, so that's why it's easier for me to hold. Now, if it was a normal pair of pliers and you had to open and close by your hand, I'm really struggling, so that's why like it kind of like opens. Like even if I were just let go, it just like automatically opens. So that's why like, I like it that way, because then I can just go like that. There you go. All right. So saying that you have your own colors, now you have your end, and it is now sufficiently closed off like this. So you're going to make 2 of these. So first step that you do after first one, you're going to follow the same step. I wouldn't go like 2 different styles on each. I mean, you could if you want. I mean, it's just like by choice and stuff like that. I don't think today we're going to put any charms on this one. That'll be for another video, and we're going to probably do something where we can do a nice like bracelet again. This is relatively easy for me. The trick is to get the little things to go around the ends on that. So I'm ordering some stuff. So I'm kind of running low on supplies. So if you notice, like sometimes like I kind of skip my videos because like I do kind of like have low winds. So I got my kits and stuff like that. So this is kind of like been my table's kind of like my own little spot here. So once you get to that, you're going to put your first base bead. So most times a base bead is like the top here, which is going to be kind of like over the closure, which is what we have on our end of our wire right now, which is like this one here. So whatever it is, it's going to come across on this part here. So I wouldn't go anything like massively huge in this particular earring, because like due to the fact that like it might overtake the kind of style that you're trying to aim for, or maybe it is like maybe it's just a style you do like. I might make some big beaded videos or something like that, and that might even be really good for some people. So I'm going to try some whites, and I'm also going to try some purples. I'm not going to use a whole bunch of these ones because I'm just going to use them for kind of like the middle part. And then I'm going to use a bunch of my other little ones here and kind of keep the style kind of pretty steady for most of that. So once you get into that, we'll just work with it, and I'll explain it as I go along. So once you get into it, you're just going to put that on top, and then you're going to put this inside your thing. And we're going to run that right down. I know I shouldn't call it a thing, but... once you get down, it might just be tricky at the end here. Sometimes the end isn't fully closed, so you have to kind of, and I also noticed that some beads are kind of like have a wider end and stuff like that, so it kind of has a little problem. Okay, all right. Now, don't over pull on this one because you don't want it to go over the top and kind of like overtake that part. So, everything. Now, this is an actually large bead. Now, if you're really concerned about that part being the part you want to just, kind of like pull this off like that. And I would suggest trying to find colors to kind of match your tie on the palette that you're going to go to. Now, I'm going to lift up a little bit more. I should have done this a bit back. And we're going to go stick with some, this is like a pink kind of colored bead. So we're going to do that. And just lay that over top. I actually have some jewelry wire coming in today for my ends. Oops. And so that will be good for some of my other new builds that I'm going to be doing for my jewelry. Sometimes it's hard to see the end. There it is. All right. Once it ends in, you just drag it down again to your end. Now my wire is a little kind of like kind of weird because, like I said, I have it kind of like not rolled. Now you should be rolling your wire. I understand. I just been so busy making so many. I just kind of threw it back in my kit because of my cats and stuff. And once you get down to the end, you will just kind of like the same idea, same concept, just pull it over. And then it's much, much, much smaller. So you can see that mostly. Now we can follow through with our white bead that we were just using earlier. And that will kind of like stop, because if you're more concerned about it coming over the edge and stuff like that, which is something that does happen, I'm not going to say it won't. You want to be sure that it doesn't like cause an issue and stuff like that. So we're going to... Sorry, went on my side. Come through. So this is kind of pretty as it is. Like you kind of get that. I got allergies right now. My cats are so shitty. Oh, okay. Anyway, so you want to kind of pick colors, everything. So like this is like a purple. I thought maybe some more purple or something like that. Some colors that kind of go well with purples or sometimes yellows. I'd be very careful on the yellows. I'd be more into the blues. Probably pinks. Yeah, I wouldn't too much. You could do blacks. I mean, you could do something like a B style. I mean, it's always up to everybody, right? So, I mean, I got the pink one on here, so I think we're going to stick with the same base, colors for everything else. So, depending how many beads you want to add to the top half of your stuff. So, like I said, like this one here has about 5. It doesn't necessarily have to be 5. It could be 2, and we could do the same thing. I think I'm going to do 4 for this particular one. And then, like I said, just experiment with what you have, because, sometimes you don't have a lot with you. And everything looks really good. Like, I mean, you know what? If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. I mean, everybody makes a little bit of a mistake. It's no big deal. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to follow, because since there's a pink one right here, I'm going to use a head, and I'm going to put another pink just below that. And we're going to go ahead and just put it through. If I can find the hole there. All right. And then also, too, I'm going to add that purple. So that's that here. Now, another thing you could do at this point is if you're really concerned about how that stuff is you could skip that for temporarily. And we could just go ahead and start adding. Now, it doesn't have to be this particular one. I do have other things. Now, I would be careful with the way you're doing things. I do have these type of beads. Now, this is from a very old set of mine. But as you can see, the middle is much, much harder. So if I were to put that on right now, it would swallow most of my beads that I have on there right now. I do have other ones and stuff like that. Like, I do have stuff like this and that. But again, like, the end is a little wide. I mean, could have worked with it. I don't really know. I have a bunch of styles at this point. I'm just grabbing a bunch of stuff as I go along here. Like this one here. This is more like a cylindrical. I could show you what that would look like. Just 1 second. I just have to pull it through. Sometimes they make the hole not big enough for most stuff. it's really weird because like when you're buying some jewelry, you're gonna notice that like this. I think this one has not large enough. No. Oh well. I guess we're not gonna be doing that one today. All right. All right. Oh well. What can we do at this point? Well, you know what? I'll just stick with it. We're gonna just try this one, but be careful. Like I said, when it comes to ends and stuff like that. Make sure that the bead that is going to be above it is going to be bigger, because when you're throwing it through, you don't want to really kind of show the hole underneath of it, and it really kind of pulls away from everything. So we're going to, I don't know if we should or shouldn't, but I think I'll just skip that one and go back to our original course, right? But the sky's the limit. I mean, whatever you have, just use it. And we're just going to put it down. All right. And so, I know right now it looks like a little snowman, but don't worry, it's going to change, don't worry. I would suggest, if you're going to do that though too, is just kind of like try to find something that kind of matches on the style. Now, I do have other white ones. I would think I'll just do that for this video, is we're going to put that just as another one underneath of that. And kind of follow along with the same styles that we were trying to aim before. And put that in. But I'll put that other one, and I'm just gonna follow something like I was looking at the bracelet, I mean the earring a little bit closer. And kind of just bring it through. So I got these two. So I got this little white one, like I said, and I got another pink one. And you're gonna see what the reason why I chose that in the first place. And so like it looks like this. Now that's nice in itself. I mean, you could leave it at this point and just walk, you know, kind of tie it off, whatever. I won't judge on anybody. That's not part of this channel. We won't be doing that. I do have another one, so we're going to pick up two more, just on the safe side. There we go, two of those. Now, I did have some little pink ones. I mean, that would be a different thing. I'm not going to, we're just doing too many stunts right now. All right. Now, we could probably quit that later on in this video if you want. So once you get to the end of this, this is where the trick comes into making those other parts of the earrings. Now, at the end of the end, so making everything here, you're going to look like you're going to be tying this off. Now, I would actually get your curved nail nose pliers, because this is going to be much more easier than your regular nose pliers. And you're going to bring it to the base of the bead. And you're going to just pretend you're tying off, so I would wrap it twice and then release. You think, well, okay, well, that doesn't look like the same earring. Well, here's the other trick that you're going to do. Sorry, I'm pulling on the side here. Taking the same needle and those pliers, you're going to go beside where you tied without cutting. Please be careful with this. And as close as you could grab. Oops. I'm just trying. And we're going to loop again. Oops. That's one of those things about, you know, having a good hand, is you kind of have to hold on to it. All right. Everything else. All right. And basically you have, we're just going to go around twice there, just to be sure this time. And basically you're going to have something that looks like two little round hoops at the bottom of your thing. Now at this point you can snip the ends off. I do have like an old pair, but they still really work, and you just go there and you snip off the end. All right. So this is where the next starts. So you gotta go. So you gotta make sure though that you know, kind of keep everything kind of as even as possible, stuff like that. So you're gonna make two of these. I'm just gonna show you how to make them one for now, and then you could just double up this one. I'll make this video too long. Now, earlier I had made something like this. Now, I mean, it's pretty close, but it's the gold part that really throw me off at this point, so we're not going to use those. We're going to use more pinks. I just got to find some pinks and purples. And we're going to use those and make the bottom half. We're just going to move that over. I don't know why I did that. And we're also going to get two purple. Now, there's two different types of purples I have. So, like, I mean, I do have a darker kind of opaque purple, and I do have like a bit of a lighter purple and stuff like that. But yeah, I also got like these. And I also do have like this here, which is really quite lovely. I don't know if I have any more available. I'm just trying to see if I do. Not sure. But I do also have like a lot of like little ends and stuff like that. This is kind of like my gems kind of department and stuff like that, where it has like a kind of different varieties of kind of like ends and stuff like that. Now, we could probably put something as nice as this on there for the base of each of the earrings. Now, I do have a bunch of these. Let's see, where did I put those? Okay, I think that's the one. I do have so much here. Yes, I do. All right. Yeah, so see, like I got this. Like I even got like little studs like this and that. Like I made this and it has like the ends and stuff like that. But if you're trying to keep up with style, like I would say stick with it. This one is more like a kind of like a gold color. So it doesn't really show. So if you're making one color, stick with one color. We're going to use the other ones. It's a little bit nicer of a color, and it goes well with the purple. Like I say again, be careful with colors. Some clash, and it will really ruin if you're trying to go for a style. So be very careful when you're deciding. Anyway, all right. So again, we're going to start with our end, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to loop that end off. Now this is where it kind of gets a little more interesting. Okay, well, I lost a one bead. All right, I'll pick it up later. I can't keep picking up a whole bunch of beads. Actually, on an average, I'll probably lose like 3 or 4 beads per craft, so don't worry about that. I'll be picking up a lot of stuff later on. And we're just going to twist our end, and we're going to make it so that it has like this again. Start off with our end like this, so we're going to have that. Now, we're going to follow along the same lines as we did with our top half, and we're going to go ahead. But the big difference on this one is we're going to start with, like, yes, our pink one. And we are going to use our purple. And, did I even grab a purple? Or do I even have my other purple one? No, I don't know. Well, you know what? I do have these. It's a smaller version to this one, actually. I'll just show you. Like, there you go. See a big version, smaller version, which we'll believe is that one. And we're going to put that back. Unfortunately, I don't know where my other purple ones are currently, so we're not going to go into that. And we're going to try to just get this one completed so we can get to see what's going on. So when it comes to the earring, though, you're going to need, for the end, you're going to need about 4 of everything, because like it's 2 per size. So yeah, just understand that's part of like the earrings and stuff like that. Again, struggling to put this on the end. It's hard when you can't really like pull there. All right, we did. Oh, that's great for the first time. We got the 2 on here. Just so this one kind of works with everything, we're going to put our little purple one, kind of like to the top half, it would have the bigger one. And we're going to put that back down, and we're going to go down to that. And then we're also going to add our, and on this one. There we go. There. And then you kind of have like a little, and like this. Now, at this point, you would want to kind of top it off in the end. Now, I should have grabbed some more of my pinks. Do I have any more pinks? No, I got lots of purples. We'll just go, no, I got a pink. Okay, there we go. You never know what you have, right? Like I say, I get so many props I get to do every day, and I'm kind of like, oops, did I have that already? Yeah, I wake up sometimes, I go, wait a minute, did I use up all that last night? Yeah, I did. All right, so, I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily this big. At this point, like, you could just tie off the end, but we're just going to make sure that, like, it doesn't and stuff like that. You know, even if you don't want to add that end on, like, I'll show you what we could do at this point. We're just going to put that down because, like, I want to be sure I keep up a few supplies here. So when you get to the end on, like, how many we want to add in, you're just going to come back on, and just like to the top here, sorry, I'm trying to keep it into the frame here, slide my pliers down, It may not be this hard for some people. It is for me. All right. And just loop it a couple times. You just want to make sure that that end is really secure, kind of stuff. So there we go. All right. I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, I don't want my bead falling off like mid-wear and then kind of stuff like that. All right. And once you get to that, we're going to nip that end off. And then we're going to follow and make a secondary one. Exact same steps. And we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that that's kind of like on there. And we're going to tighten it up. I hope everybody's been enjoying my videos. I've been trying to keep them, like I say, regular every time. It's been a little tricky. I've been having some things, and I'm just trying to get them all out for you. Mostly struggle to do it during the mornings and stuff like that, as I'm very busy. So when you're doing the same kind of step over, you want to follow it the same for both ends. So, I mean, I've made ends like earrings where it's kind of like each end will be slightly bit different, but kind of keep it to the same style that you're going to want and stuff like that. All right, so now I got that. We're going to add and do the same steps over again. We're going to put this in. And basically, we're going to make sure. And we're going to put this on. And then we're going to put this on. I would say, like, if you're going to be doing some crafting, try to be in an area, like, if you do have a lot of pets and stuff like that, where you don't really have a lot of distractions when you're doing this, because you know how sometimes pets can be very kind of curious what you're doing. It is wonderful, like, you know, you have, like, your pets that kind of want to follow and do whatever they can with you. But sometimes crafting can cause a little bit of a thing where, you know, you don't want them touching things that they shouldn't be touching. Now this end is a little crooked, so I'm going to just kind of straighten it out, kind of as best I can anyway. And we're going to ride that to the top like my other one, and stuff like that. Now it might take a little bit because, like I say, I don't have it in my jewelry, and I have to turn my beads. I am left-handed, so that's why I'm kind of curling over. All right. All right, well, we kind of got it on there. All right, now we're just going to tie it off, and we'll go follow through with our last step on this one. One, two, 4, 5, and I'm just going to, just because it's a little bit of a large bead, put 6 in there, so that way it kind of keeps it from falling off. And I've had that happen where I didn't put enough loops on the end, and it just, like I was walking in my mall, and it just kind of like flew off and everything, and I didn't find it, unfortunately, but I was able to make a bunch more, so it was no big deal. Somebody found that. All right, unwrap that for me. I do wrap it around my fingers because that's the only way I can. So that's the saying is, like, say you get your ends. So now we got the 2 ends for our earring. Now this will be like kind of a thing. Like, you got your base and you got all the stuff. So this will be your main. Now they all look pretty close to each other. And like I say, style, creativity, everything, you know, the ends the limit there. So now we're going to go into our next step. If you do have a couple things that you could use, that's fine. Now, we got our little loop, and it's a little small, but we're going to have to open it up. So I got to find, okay, there it's the end. I got to lock it in, like this. And this is why you see me holding it like this, in case if you're wondering why I'm doing that. And now I could use this, just a little bit of pressure, and open up the back of the earring. Now, the earring that does have like the double loop on the end, you're going to take one loop, not both loops, and you're going to loop your thing in. And now taking one of your ends, you're going to put it in and close it off. Just showing you how easy this is. Make sure it is closed. There we go. One, and then another one, and we're going to do the exact same step over. Yeah, right there. Now, using the other loop that is there, and now attach the other one. Snap it closed. And there you go. Now, for the top, it's the same step, but the only difference you're putting is just your hook for your earring. Like I said, I got these gold ones here, and I'm going to buy a bunch of different kind of varieties so they don't have just one. And everything at the top, loop it in, earring hook, put that in, there we go, and close. Just make sure it's locked in. And there you go. Isn't it quite lovely? It may feel large. This is where I say play with how big you want your earrings to look. I could just go as much as 2 at the top, and then same size on the bottom. It's always up to you. So, like, you know, if I were to put them on, they would kind of hang down like this, and they're quite lovely. Like, I mean, it would look really nice on me. And I'm wearing the right colors today for this, so like that would be kind of like one of your things. So I'm gonna cut this video into 2. This is part 1. I'm making a part 2 in a few moments. And then we're going to actually go on and we're going to make ourselves these earrings here. Now, the one difference I want to say in this video in particular is that when you're making that end, one thing I learned, these are like 3mm beads. Now, threading it through the way I'm going to show you is tricky. So I would try to go above the 3mm if you can, because I learned that. Now, there's a difference. This is another 3mm and it had a much larger opening. Just check that it can fit double wire through it, because some of the parts I'll show you, it does make a big difference. And like I say, this is just a base style. You can even double it up and make it look like a starfish. I mean, it still looks beautiful. I mean, you could wear this with like a really nice cute little red dress or something, like for ladies, okay? Or maybe for the men. I've seen that happen, and it's quite lovely, you know what? So we're going to do that, and so we're going to leave that here, and I will be doing my part 2, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Cheers.